Hello and welcome back everybody to the weekly update on the financial markets. Like always, I want to cover with you the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold, Bitcoin against the US dollar, and an add-on like talked about in the last episode, a single stock. I have a trading setup open right now. We will cover the time frames from the weekly over the daily to the 4-hour time frame and all my open trades, so you exactly know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and you can decide for yourself if you find that content useful. If so, like and subscribe, and let's start directly in with the S&P 500 on the weekly time frame. Here the S&P 500 index, like promised, starting with the weekly time frame where each candle represents 1 week of price action. We can see that we are in intact uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows. We had here a massive sell-off, stopping at the last high from January 2022. And from there on, price found support and rise to a new all-time high. So this orange solid weekly uptrend line is the valid one, and that one is belonging to the past. Because of that, now in dotted, but oftentimes these broken trend lines act again as resistance later on for price. So maybe we'll find here resistance and see from there a short-term correction before continuing the overall uptrend. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame for more details. Here you can see we had this ABC correction to the downside, marking here the low. Also, if you would have used the Fibonacci retracement level from the low of the movement to the high of the movement, you get this the Fibonacci lines, and 0.618 Fibonacci is an important one, and here was price stopping and rising from there on. I was also able to draw in an intact daily white solid uptrend line, getting a little bit extended here to the upper side, and like you can see, we at the moment testing this broken orange dotted uptrend line from the lower side. So probably we'll see here maybe a break of this daily uptrend and a correction before then continuation higher, hopefully. Because of that, like you can see, I'm at the moment in a long trade. I have waited for the setback, and after a new high above the setback, I entered in the long position and placed my stop loss comfortably below this daily support zone to protect my stop loss from setbacks. And also the 200 moving daily average is above my stop loss. So if this overall uptrend stays intact, I see no reason why my stop loss should get taken out. Already nearly $2,000 in profit at the moment, risking also $2,000 with this trade. If we drop even one time frame lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we have here a divergence. MACD is making lower highs while price is making higher highs. That normally means that we will soon see a break and a correction to the lower side, like also drawn in on the daily time frame. Because of that, I'm expecting a setback. Maybe we'll even dip a little bit below the last all-time highs here. Because of that, I haven't moved yet my stop loss level to my entry level and take the trade risk free. I will do that if we see this setback, and then after we see new all-time highs after the setback at that level, I would like to move my stop loss to my entry level, and then the trade is risk free. Where are the targets? Let's go for that one time frame higher again to the daily time frame. That's the level where, or the time view frame where I was drawing in these Fibonacci retracement levels. If price sets back, it's a retracement level. If price exceeds the all-time high, it's an extension level, and the next extension level is here the 0.272 extension level, and slightly below that I placed my take profit. I would make $3,400 profit with this trade if all plays out like planned. For sure, price can turn and take me out, but unlikely after a new all-time high. Unlikely, not impossible. Make research, like always, by yourself. That's all I have for the S&P 500. Let's switch to US oil. US oil also starting with a weekly time frame. You can see here in a red solid a monthly downtrend line. That one got broken to the upper side in combination with this monthly support and resistance zone, and since then we moved into this weekly correction here. You could argue that looks like an A B C pattern, And if that's developed finally, then we normally see a breakout and moving higher prices. Not sure if point C is already in. It can also dip from here even lower, and point C will develop lower, maybe the $40 range per barrel. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, everything speaks to that. If we lose this 200 moving average on a weekly to the upper side, that will at least then we'll see new higher prices for oil. If we drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see that we dipped below this weekly support zone, made a retest, broke the weekly downward line to the upper side, short-term news driven, and then collapsed back lower to this weekly support zone, and from there on consolidating sideways so far. I placed a buy order above this sideways consolidation and the 200 daily moving average, and my stop loss would be below this consolidating movement. So if we will see now break higher above this level, I would hope that that's the earliest sign to get into a long position, and that could be a valid stop loss area. But first, starting with just a small position, $500 at risk. One time from lower at the 4-hour time frame, you can see I had here an intake for our blue dotted uptrend line. Here around this area, that was the first area where I placed my entry, and I had an active position long in oil. Stop loss was below this 4-hour support zone here, but I went out of the trade after seeing this 4-hour uptrend line getting broken to the downside, seeing a lower high, and at that moment I was break even, so I got out of the trade, and like expected, we declined even further, turning from an uptrend to a downtrend, and now I'm waiting that this downtrend is over and we'll see a new all-time high on the 4-hour time frame. That would be, like said earlier, my buy stop, and my stop loss would be below this movement to the downside. Not sure where it ends right now. At the moment it's placed here, but I can move it after I see the complete correction to the downside. Maybe it's not only a correction, and after we'll see higher highs, maybe we'll collapse all the way down to the downside, and I'm getting not into a long trade, and point C will evolve on the weekly time frame lower than it is right now. That's my plan at the moment for oil, but that's all I have at the moment. Next is gold. Gold spot here at the weekly time frame, massive bullish chart at the moment, looking like a skyrocket from Elon Musk. Just joking. Here you can see a weekly resistance zone. Price struggled a lot of times with breaking above that, but once we made or have seen the breakout, price wasn't able to get stopped. Only small pauses in between higher highs and higher lows, confirming this intake weekly uptrend. And at the moment, the price gets held by the 10-week moving average, consolidating sideways at the moment. If you drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame, you can see that the daily white solid uptrend is still intact. Price rising got steeper, so I was able to draw in a secondary daily white dotted uptrend line, and price was moving inside a triangle here, or at least at the moment that's my view, that we're moving here inside a triangle or a sideways consolidation. I hope it's a triangle, because then my long trade probably ain't lost yet. If it's a sideways consolidation and that's the high and that's the low, then my stop loss maybe gets taken out from this long position, but we will see. Yeah, I went into a long position here. We had here the ABC correction, their downtrend, and then the downtrend got broken to the upper side with this candle, so I went into a long position with $1,000 or 1% of my comp balance at risk. Since then, I'm in this trade, consolidating sideways. My stop loss is below this movement, or was below point A. And yeah, nearly got stopped out, but was holding. Then price was rising again. That looked pretty bullish last week, but then we got again lower to the end of the week, looking like it would like to break this daily uptrend to the downside. But I was expecting that a couple of times lately, so maybe that's not the case. I have the plan to stay in this long position if price moves against me and into this range, or maybe even retesting this daily white solid uptrend line in combination with the 200 moving average, then I get stopped out for 1% of my account balance at loss. That's then fine for me. But if we see here getting more support in this price structure and price decides to rise again, then I'm also planning to increase my long position here with this buy stop order above this local high here, and that would be then pretty promising to develop further to the upper side to my take profit area that's placed around $3,700 per gold ounce in US dollar. If we drop one time from lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see only more details here. This 4-hour uptrend was holding the breakouts of the daily uptrend line. Right now we have seen a break, not that bullish to me at the moment. This one was bullish because we have seen a break of this triangle downtrend, but then reversed directly, so maybe it's just a fake out and we will continue now lower. Next buy order comfortably above this high and this high. So if we see prices in this area, that's probably not anymore a fake out. Yeah, that's my plan for gold at the moment. We will see what will happen. I will inform you like always in my next weekly update, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Next, Bitcoin against US dollar. Bitcoin at the weekly time frame, we have an intact uptrend making higher highs and higher lows so far at the moment at a new all-time high level, at least at the weekly. And yeah, looks pretty bullish to me. We stopped perfectly from measured from the low to the high here on the weekly with Fibonacci retracement levels at a 0.618 Fibonacci retracement in combination with the last high here, and from there on have been rising again. And yeah, on the daily time frame you can see my entry level here. I was able to draw back in the days a downtrend line from this corrective movement all the way down to the last high, and after seeing a break of this daily downtrend line and consolidation on the 4-hour time frame, I went long after leaving that to the upper side, and since then stayed long and even increased my position after seeing prices above this ABC consolidation here. So here I doubled my long position for rising prices or an expectation of rising prices. So far that went well. My initial stop loss area was below this whole movement. After seeing a new all-time high, I was moving it to my entry level. After increasing my position, my stop loss moved automatically higher. The moment I place it below this ABC pattern and the 200 moving average, I would at the moment lose 0.5% of my confidence, and I'm already 3.3% of my confidence in profit. My take profit area is around $135,000 per coin. I was choosing that one because of this Fibonacci retracement levels, but more on the 4-hour time frame, because there was placing this Fibonacci retracement tool again from low to the high before we have seen a pullback. And if I take this extended levels, I end here slightly below the $136,000 level. I place my take profit area, and I think that's the realistic target for this Bitcoin cycle. Probably a little bit conservative, but on my active trading I stay conservative if it's still lucrative, and in this case it is, because I would make above 6% with this one trade alone. That's my plan for Bitcoin. On the 4-hour time frame you can see another flag forming here. Maybe we'll see even a dip lower back to this white solid daily uptrend line, and from there on rising again, or maybe we'll see directly a break higher. I would see that confirmed after seeing these two highs here getting taken out to the upper side. Then I would assume that we will rise in the next days also to again a new all-time high level, but consolidating. And the problem for me, if the stop loss is far enough away from the current price, and that's the case. Yeah, that's all I have also for Bitcoin. Then last but not least, I have this special add-on with the single stock I want to show you. Yeah, the stock I'm talking about is AOS Smith Corporation. I was choosing this stock because of the past price structure and the similarity to the current situation. We had 3 times falling stock price and 3 times rising portions to new all-time highs here. Here you can see similar situation, price collapsed to the downside, was building out the bottom scenario, and then hopefully it's rising higher. I was covering that already in my last episode. Let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame for more details. Here you had downtrend, then the first break of this downtrend to the upper side, and then the second one. And that would be a good trading opportunity with stop loss below the second breakout for rising prices and new all-time highs. Same here, first breakout, second breakout, stop loss below the second breakout, entry above that, a little bit chopped to the sideways, but finally a new all-time high, good trade. Here, next one, downtrend, building out the first breakout, retest, second breakout, retest, stop loss below the second retest, entry above the breakout, and then aiming for new all-time highs or stay conservative and place my take profit below the last highs here, because that's probably again resistance for price, and I want to get early out with some profits. Every time the 200 moving average on the daily was supporting this breakout, and this time it's the same. Also, you could argue that this is a head and shoulders formation with a neckline. You can see it better on the 4-hour time frame with the neckline here in blue, and the breakout is confirmed. And then you can at least expect a take profit as far as here this complete head and shoulders pattern reaches 16%, so also 16% to the other side. I was placing already last week a buy stop order here, hasn't got triggered after, with rising above that level. Not so sure why it hasn't worked out. Maybe the movement was too fast. With this paper trading account, you have always a limit with this buy stop order, so maybe the limit price was too high, market was rising too fast. But I try now on Monday directly to get back into the trade, because we've seen a nice retest, and I should be able to get in here with a manual position with a market order, and from there on then rise probably higher. If we reverse completely lower, that would take me out of my trade. 0.5% of my account in then would be lost, but I would be fine with that. Take profit would be 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, so pretty solid. That's all I have for you guys and girls for this weekly update. I hope you hear and see me next time. Bye bye.